So, a question. How many Chilean people do you know? Be honest, okay? To tell you a secret, when I came to Chile, I didn't know a single Chilean person. Well, except my husband, but I mean like the famous ones. I didn't know a single one. Honestly, it was so embarrassing, especially when everybody were talking about Piñera, and I'm like, who's Piñera? And it's the current president of Chile. Was very embarrassing. So yeah, I don't want the same to happen to you. So today I will share 10 most famous Chilean people that you should know, because you will hear them a lot, like a lot. Let's start with the young and fun and super popular rapper and trapper whose name is Drev Killer. He's currently 24 years old, but he's known all over the world. He's very popular now. He has 5 albums currently that are out. And he has clothes and accessory line, which is called Honey and Bees. He's a composer. He started performing since he was like 12 years old. And since then, he built a very successful music career. And a fun thing, he's the first Chilean trapper to sign the contract with Warner Music Group. Unfortunately, I cannot play you his songs, but I will definitely link them in the description, so go check them out. Especially if you're a young person or you're gonna talk to somebody young, he's super well known and you will hear his songs very often. So the most popular songs are Exhibicionista, ¿Qué será?, Túnel, Sin Sentimientos, Demasiado, and so on. He has 5 albums, he has a lot of songs. Number 2, Gabriela Mistral. She lived in the first part of the 20th century, and here you will find the streets named after her, museums, cultural centers, parks, squares. So who is she? Why is she so popular? She was a poet, diplomat, educator, and humanist. Gabriela Mistral is the first Latin American author who received a Nobel Prize in Literature. And also she appears on the 5,000 Chilean peso banknote. I'll show you one second. Found it. Here she is, Gabriela Mistral. She is the symbol of the idealistic aspirations in the Latin American world. And she's extremely popular for the changes she made in the education system in Chile. There is even literally like a museum of education of Gabriela Mistral in Santiago. She was writing about love, nature, betrayal, sorrow, travel, and Latin American identity. She has been traveling throughout the whole world. She's also very well known. She lived in Europe for some time, in USA. Unfortunately, she had no kids. She used to be married, but the last part of her life, she lived with her female partner, Doris Dana. Number 3. If you love music, especially folklore music, I bet you know her. Her name is Violeta Para. Also first half of the 20th century. She was a composer, singer, songwriter, folklorist, visual artist, and ethnomusicologist. She left us 4 kids from 2 different partners. Unfortunately, she ended her life committing suicide, but we remember like more happy part of her life. She was the pioneer of the Nueva Canción Chilena, New Chilean Song, which was basically the renewal of the whole Chilean folk music. And thanks to her, the folk music, the Chilean roots, they came out throughout the whole world. You can find here her museums, a lot of graffitis with Violeta Para, and there is the whole movie about her life. And now her birthday, which is the 4th of October, is the Chilean Musicians' Day. Number 4. This is not a very bright figure in the Chilean history, but you need to know him if you want to know about Chile. And if you lived in the 80s, 90s, like you were not born in this part, but was already like a teenager, adult, maybe you heard about him. Or if you like history, you know about him. This is the infamous Augusto Pinochet. He lived until 2006 and was a military dictator and ruler of Chile. Basically, he was the one who ended democracy in the country. He was ruling Chile from the 1973 till 1990. He got the support from the US to finish the democracy and finish the current president, who was Allende. By the way, Salvador Allende, the last president before Augusto Pinochet, he committed suicide when the military forces were going inside the palace where he was. So he had no other choice, because otherwise he would be killed by Pinochet. There were like very bad years of Chilean history. He tortured and killed thousands of people. Hundreds of people went missing. Everybody who were criticizing him, who were like socialist, who were pro-democracy, killed them all. He got arrested later for the multiple violations of human rights. And all the Chilean people, they remember these years, the years of Pinochet, as the darkest years of Chilean history, because of all the hunger, there is no work, torturing, killing people. Like, you can never be sure about tomorrow during these times. There are a lot of movies about it, a lot of books. If you're interested in the topic, go for it. Number 5 is yet another musician of the 20th century. His name is Viktor Harara. He used to be a teacher, a theater director, poet, singer, songwriter, socialist, and political activist. Again, speaking about political activism, he was tortured and killed by Pinochet. But Viktor Harara is the one who developed the Chilean theater, and as well as Violeta Para, he participated in this new movement of Nueva Canción Chilena. Right now, there is a whole stadium named after Viktor Harara, the stadium where he was killed, he was executed, and now he is a symbol for human rights and justice. Number 6, we are going in a more positive and modern direction. This is a former professional football player, Ivan Zamorano. He was born in 1967. If you're a fan of football, I bet you heard about him. Or if you haven't, maybe you recognize his picture. He played as a striker, and right now it is said that he is the most recognized Chilean player. He played for Colo-Colo, national team of Chile, participated in the Olympics in 2000, and in the World Cup in 1998. Also, he played with Milan and Real Madrid. Number 7 is also a football player, but this is a modern one. This is like a shining star of the Chilean football, Alexis Sanchez. Have you heard about him? There is a movie where he plays, and this is a movie about him and a boy, and it's called My Friend Alexis, Mi Amigo Alexis. Maybe you heard about it. If not, I do recommend you watch it. It's pretty fun. It's kind, you know. It's really nice to watch something kind in the modern world. So if you want to watch it, do watch it. And plus you will see some parts of Chile, which is also nice. He's forward for Inter Milan and Chilean national team. And he considered as the greatest Chilean player in history. Also, he's called the Wonder Child. He was born in 1988. And until now, he's considered the all-time top goal scorer. Number 8, we're going back to literature. And I guess you heard about this person because he's extremely popular. Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda is also Chilean. He was living in the 20th century. He is a Chilean poet, diplomat, and politician. By the way, he came to the Soviet Union and he was a huge fanatic of Lenin. So, just a fun fact. In 1971, he won Nobel Prize in Literature, being the second Chilean author winning the Nobel Prize. He is known as a poet since he was 13 years old. His teacher was Gabriela Mistral. He used to be a senator for the Chilean Communist Party and traveled throughout the whole world. During the war in Spain, he also helped some of the refugees who he considered as communist to go to the boat. There were like 2,000 people that he helped to go to the boat, to the ship, and travel to Chile. Yeah, so he helped refugees. And now he has 3 museums with his houses where he used to live. The most popular ones are La Chascona in Santiago and Isla Negra in Isla Negra. This is like next to Santiago, near the beach. Number 9 is going to be yet another football player. If you didn't know that, football is extremely popular in Chile. I mean, extremely popular. So if there is a game during the workday, there is not going to be any work done because they're just gonna like watch the game and not work. Or you can say like, oh, there is a game, I don't know, at 6 p.m. and I need 1 hour to go home to watch it. So I will finish my work early and I will go home to watch it. And everybody's gonna be okay with that. Because yeah, football is extremely popular here and extremely important. So number 9 is Arturo Vidal. He played with Alexis Sanchez. He was born in 1987. He is a midfielder for Campeonato Brasileiro and for Chile national team. He played for various European clubs and is now considered one of the best middle fielders in the world. Finally, number 10, so that you don't make the same mistake as I did when I came here, the current president of Chile, which is Gabriel Boric, or Boric. By the way, he's like Boric, but you will hear people saying Boric and Boric. I don't know why. Let's call him Gabriel Boric. So he's the current president of Chile. What's so wonderful about him? He is the youngest president in the history of the world. And he was elected with the highest number in the country's history. So people really wanted him to be a president. The fun part about him that he did study law, but he never actually graduated. So he's like 30-something, he never graduated, but he's extremely popular with people, so they selected him as the president. Unfortunately, now he has been president for like 4 months. People are already getting disappointed in everything he's doing, so it's really fun to see what's gonna happen. But one example is that he promised the payment from the pension fund, you know, because of the COVID, a lot of people lost their jobs, but they have money in this like a fund that where you put money for your pension. So during these years, people were allowed to take like 2 or 3 times some amount, like some percentage, like 10% of what you have there, you know. And when Boric was saying that he wants to be a president, one of his strongest points was that he wants to have one more payment out of this fund for people. It was never approved. He never did it. I mean, let's give him time. It's only 4 months. But yeah, so far people are not very happy with their choice. So these are the most famous 10 people in Chile. I really hope you enjoyed the video and it was informative and interesting for you. Don't forget to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Put a like if you liked the video, and I'll see you next time.